Yo, RX back for the first time in 2024 with a breakdown of UFC Vegas 88, 89, Ankalaev versus Walker 2. We back finally with some fights. Been a month, been a whole year change, but we are finally back. I'm so happy to be back, and I hope the 4 people that are watching are happy to see me back, ready for another year of breakdowns and recaps. Hope everyone had a great New Year's, great Christmas, all that shit. But now, all that's in the past. The only thing that matters is the present, and the present is the first card of 2024 in the Apex. Why the fuck are we back in the Apex? Whatever. Walker and Ank. I'm very, very excited for this card. It's a very good card, and it's a very, for a lot of pretty decent fights on an Apex card. So, again, it's a good card to start the year. So, but enough rambling. Unless my friend say anything about the card, not really. So, enough rambling. The only thing left to say before I get into the breakdown is please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of the year again. That's the main goal. I guess the smaller goal would be 50. Either or would be fucking amazing to hit. So I'm grateful for every sub. We're at 36 to start the year. Let's see what we end the year with. I think we can end the year at a higher number, hopefully. But beggars aren't choosers. So. But enough talk. Let's break down some fights. You ready? I know I am. 12 fights in total to break down. And we start off the first fight of 2024. In the flyweight division, we have Filipino Bunes versus Joshua the Fearless Van. Very good fight to start the year. Actually, it's interesting that Joshua Van stepped in for Dennis Bondar, so we're starting off the year with a short notice replacement fight, so that's interesting. But I think the fight is better now because Dennis Bondar is a shit fighter, and Joshua Van's a very good fighter, so I'm excited for this fight. And let's talk about Felipe Bunes. Felipe is making his UFC debut. He's been signed for a hot minute now. He's meant to debut last year against Gaston Nicolau, but he had to pull out. So it became his debuts now pushed to the beginning of this year. So he's not the best looking record on paper. The fact that he's in his last 5 fucking 3-2, and he had a 3-fight losing streak not that long ago, but he has won 2 in a row, coming off first round KO, and he did fight a UFC veteran, Juicy Ferreira. He did lose, so, but yeah, he's in the UFC now. They see something in him for just giving him a contract and not just throwing him on the Contender Series. So let's see how he does. This is his first fight in 8 years. So, like, it's almost directly a year. So let's see how he looks. He has more fights than his opponent. But he is 34 years old, which is at flyweight, the older the worse you are. So, and yeah, submission guy. Okay, let's see how he does. I think the fighters who just get a contract, no Contender Series, tough, or hype, like, just get a contract, have a lot more weight on their shoulders. Because it's a clean slate, so we know nothing about you. Let's see what you do. No, that's Felipe Bunes. To talk about his opponent, Joshua Van. Josh in the UFC is 2-0. 2 wins are Zhulgal Sumagulov and Kevin Borjas. He's looked amazing in the UFC so far. His striking is quick. He has good heart in the Kevin Borjas fight. He showed that getting dropped in round 1 and coming back to win the fight. I don't remember seeing much of his ground game, but I'm guessing that's probably decent. We're probably going to see some of it in this fight since Bunes does want to get to the ground. And Van's just a really solid prospect at 22 years old, and he already looks like he could be a ranked fighter. Like, he is so good so early in his career that's kind of scary. Like, 22 years old, 9-1, and he already looks better than a couple of the ranked guys. Like, fuck, I think he's better than Sumadarji and fucking Alex Perez. So what does that really tell you about flyweight? But Van is very good, and this is another, like, he stepped on short notice, so it's not really, they gave him a fucking another underwhelming fight, but if he does win this fight, he definitely deserves a higher level opponent, which I'm excited to see how he does in that fight if he does get it. So, but yeah, Van's a very talented. We're going to see more of his great striking. He's just a very fluid striker, decent power, good fight IQ, again, very quick. Gas tank holds up very well. He's just a really solid fighter and definitely a name to keep an eye on in the coming years at flyweight. Again, 22 years old and he's this good. We could be looking at a very big problem in the division for a long time if he does get better than he already is, which is scary as is. So yeah, Van's very good, and excited to see him back in the octagon so quickly. Just fought 2 months ago against Borjas in, I think that's MSG, the Yuri Alex card, so back very quickly. So let's see if that's good or bad. The betting odds for this fight have Joshua Van minus 220 to plus 180. I would tend to agree. The highest I would put Van is minus 250, and I don't think he should be that. I think 200 to 220 is about right. He should win this fight. Yes, he's less experienced, but he is 12 years younger, more UFC proven, better fucking resume, and he fought 2 months ago. He's not fought in a year. So Bunes' best chance of winning this fight is getting it to the ground, because he is the taller fighter and much lengthier fighter. So getting it to the ground, you slow down Van. You're not dealing with Van's speed and power on the feet. But Van's probably no slouch on the ground, so Bunes is really going to have to work for this one. It's definitely going to be a walk in the park for him if he does get it. And for Van, I think he'll be able to use his very clean striking to get the W here. So, like, I really don't see Van losing this. I think he's already beat better fighters than Bunes. I think Borjas is probably better. Like, I've seen very, very little Bunes, but that record's not very appealing, and the little I have seen is not the best, so I am going to lean with Joshua Van in this fight. I think he'll be able to, again, use his very slick striking and to get himself another decision win. So my first pick of the year is going to be Joshua Van by decision. I think he'll be able to do what he's done in his last 2 fights and get a third W in the UFC. So, hope I didn't jinx him, because I've got the last 2 first picks of the year wrong. So, hopefully I break that streak and get it right for once. So, my first pick of 2024 is Joshua Van by decision. After that, not the most to say about this fight. I think it's a very self-explanatory fight, but it will probably give us a really good highlight, so I'll talk about it a small bit as we go to our second fight of the night. In the lightweight division, we have Tom Big Train Nolan versus Nikolas Iron Motta. Let's talk about Tom Nolan. Tom is making his UFC debut coming out to Contender Series, where he looked great. A vicious KO in under 90 seconds. And yeah, he looked great, good power, looked very good on the feet, and a lot of hype around him. A lot of people are hyping him up after that fight. Undefeated, 23 years old. He did impress me. He did look very good, but now it's time to see if he can live up to that hype. Like, yeah, he's undefeated, and his wins before UFC are not the best. This is a good one. 7-1 dude, but 9-6, 2-0, 2-2. Like he did beat a dude who's 11-1, so that's another good feather in his cap. But yeah, let's see how he does in the big leagues. It's time to show up or show out, and they gave him a very, very, very favorable matchup. So let's see if he can perform to the hype people have given him. So yeah, Tom Nolan in the UFC. Let's see how he does. He seemed to be a very good, well-rounded fighter. Let's see if he can show that more in the UFC. Talk about the opponent, Nikolas Motta. Not going to talk much about Motta because I've talked about him for all of his fights in UFC, and it just gets worse every time I break down one of his fights. He is 1-2-1 UFC really should be 1-3 if the ref was not terrible in his last fight. Like, so he got a contract in 2020 off to Contender 3. Didn't make his debut till 2022. Got starched by Jim Miller, beat Cameron Van Camp, got killed by Manuel Torres, and then got just outclassed by Trey Ogden in a fight that he should have lost, but bad reffing. So, like, I'll excuse the Jim Miller and Manuel Torres fights. Those two are very good. He got outclassed by Trey Ogden. Like, he made Trey Ogden look like Trey Ogden is levels above him, which, as a fighter, which says a lot about Motta's talent, because Trey Ogden's no fucking world beater. Trey Ogden's a very maybe mid fighter, and Ogden got outclassed by him in every sense of the fucking word. Motta's just a shitty striker, a boxer, I should say. He has a little power, but fuck, he's so bad. He's not a good boxer. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, one of the best you can do is knock out Cameron Van Camp, who's a fucking gas station employee. Like, he sucks, man. Like, even before UFC, he didn't do much. He was on the Ultimate fucking Fighter. Fuck. How the fuck did he beat Joe Solecki? Man, Joe Solecki's not that good of a fighter. But, yeah, fucking Motta's not a very talented fighter, and I think this will probably be the last time I have to talk about him, which is very good. Cause he is bad. Really bad. The betting odds for this fight have Tom Nolan minus 290 to plus 235. I would move Nolan up to a bigger favorite. You could put him up to minus 500 in my opinion. Motta is that bad. Like, if you're getting outclassed by Trey Ogden, you suck. And I think Tom Nolan is better than Trey Ogden, so you kind of got an issue here, bud. So, my pick here is, of course, Tom Nolan. And in fact, my lock of the night is also Tom Nolan. It is not the best card for lock picks, so I'll go with the dude I'm most confident in, which is Tom Nolan. So, yeah, I think Nolan should easily win this fight, be able to crack the chin of Motta early, which that chin has been cracked so many times. It should not be too difficult. And he should be able to get his second UFC win. Plus, I didn't talk about this, 6'3" to 5'9". That's a fucking crime. Like, hold the height. I can't wait to see the face-off, cause dude, he's gonna be literally looking down at the motherfucker. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, my pick and lock here is Tom Nolan by knockout in the first. I think he cracks Motta's chin and sends him back to the minor leagues. So I think the hype will look really good on Nolan after this fight as he knocks out Motta in the first round. My first finish pick of the year, Tom Nolan by knockout in the first. After that, we head to featherweight for a very low-level fight, in my opinion. I don't really value either of these guys too highly. I think one sucks and the other has not impressed me. So, let's see who changes my mind in this fight as we go for our third fight of the night between Westin Wilson versus Gene Lord Assassin Silva. Not going to talk about Westin Wilson. He is only here because he stepped in on short notice. He's one of those guys, like many others, which we'll probably be breaking down more throughout the year, that are only in the UFC because they stepped in on short notice and got a contract, and they did not cut him after their first terrible performance. So, yeah, Westin Wilson is a fucking joke. And yes, he did step in to fight Joe Anderson Brito, respect, and he got fucking annihilated as expected. So, yeah. To talk about his opponent, Jean Silva, Jean, I don't know. Is it J silent in his name? Probably not. Jean is making his UFC debut, coming out to Contender Series where he had a fine performance. I don't think he should have got a contract. He not impressed me that much. He beat up a kid who sucks. So, and you couldn't even finish him. So, yeah, I was not very impressed. So, he really has to show out here to impress me because, again, yeah, you beat up a kid who sucks, and yeah, I don't think you should have got a contract for it. So, Jan better impress me. And they gave you a super favorable matchup. You better perform. You better wipe the floor of Westin Wilson. Even if you do, I'm not gonna give you that much respect. But at least I know you can beat the bottom of the barrel. So, yeah, not very self-explanatory fight here. Yeah. John Silva. To bang that first fight, I have Silva at minus 800 to plus 550. Yeah. I might move him down a little bit to maybe I would say maybe minus 400. Yeah, I like 400 more. He should easily win this fight. It's Westin Wilson. I think most people can beat Westin Wilson in a fight. And I think Silva will beat Westin Wilson in this fight. So, yeah. So my pick here is going to be John Silva. I think he just runs through Wilson, quick knockout in the first round, crack the chin, and send him back to fucking wherever he came from, probably the local Burger King. So, yeah, I'm going John Silva by knockout in the first. Should be a pretty easy night in the office. Impress me. After that, we head to a fucking banger in the bantamweight division. Nothing new in that regard. Bantamweight only has bangers, it seems. As we have Farid Ferocious Basharat versus Taylor Double Impact Lapilus. What a great fight. Holy shit, this could easily be on the main card. Banger between two great prospects. Let's see who comes out on top. Let's talk about Farid Basharat. Farid in the UFC is 2-0. His 2 wins, Damon Blackshear and Clayton Rodriguez. He looked really good in his last fight against Clayton. He really looked underwhelming against Damon, but that just seems like what Damon does best if he loses, makes you look very underwhelming. I'll talk about that later with someone else. But yeah, he looked fantastic against Clayton Rodriguez, running through him like he was nothing back in Paris or last year. And he, like that, he looked very impressive. Before this fight, I was saying he's that Javid's the clear-cut better brother. Now it's kind of getting close. I still think Javid is better at that. He's proven more. But Farid is very talented. He's better on the ground than his older brother. I don't know if he's older, but than his brother. His striking's not even that bad, so Farid's good and definitely a problem in the division if he keeps getting better. And I think he could really show a lot in this fight, because this is a really big step up. Going from Clayton Rodriguez, a fucking guy who ain't very good, to Taylor Lapilus, who is very good. is a very big step up, and I'm very interested to see how he does in this fight, because the best guy he's fought before Lapilus was Simón Blackchair, and he looked very unimpressive in that fight. So let's see if he can right the wrong and look very impressive against a very good fighter. So yeah, Farid's very good, and let's see if he can keep his O. Let's see if he can keep his O before his brother loses his. So yeah. To talk about his opponent, Taylor Lapilus. Taylor in the UFC is 4-1. He had a UFC run before his current one where he went 3-1. Not really sure why they cut him. He went 3-1, but whatever. But now he's back in UFC, and in his first fight back, also on the Paris card, which is interesting, he beat Callan Longhorn. He looked very good in that fight, very good in his return, was able to just be better than the kid. And he looked good. He looked very impressive in his return fight. And now it's time for him to get a giant step up himself and fight Farid, which I think that will be really good to see how Lapilus has improved since his first UFC run, because this will show a lot. Whoever wins this gets a giant jump in the fucking bantamweight division. And for Lapilus, a dude who is 31, is on his second UFC run, he definitely would love that giant boost off of taking a good prospect's O. So I definitely think I think he can do it, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he does, because if you break down this fight into categories, like, striking is very... I think it's close. I might give it to Lapilus. Power is definitely Lapilus. Ground game would be Farid. Strength, that's interesting. Gas tank, I'd probably say Farid. It's a very interesting fight, and I definitely think wherever the fight is, it's going to be entertaining. Striking, I can't wait to see them strike, and if they do grapple, it'll be interesting to see if Lapilus can hang with Farid. So, I'm very excited for this fight. I think this is a banger. And let's see what the betting odds think. They have Farid minus 250 to plus 205. I kind of think it's a little crazy that Farid's such a big favorite against such a good opponent. I would move Farid down to minus 180. Yeah, I like that. Minus 180 plus 160. I think that's a little more on the right side of what the odds should be. Farid's very talented, and I do think he'll win this fight, but I'm not counting out Lapilus. I definitely think Lapilus could get the win here. Not sure completely how. But I definitely think Lapilus could walk away with the W here. Giant upset to a lot, and it'd take to see Farid lose his O, especially this early into his run, would be a big shocker. So I'm interested to see if Lapilus can do it. I'm going to say he doesn't do it, because I am going to go with Farid, but don't be that shocked if Lapilus does it. So, this is a very high-level fight for two unranked guys, and I'm very excited to see who gets the win. So, yeah. So, my pick here is going to be Farid Basharat. I think he keeps his O, and keeps the Basharat train going for both brothers. Javid got booked yesterday in a fight against Ayman Zahabi, so let's see if he can start the year off right for the brothers. And it's actually funny, Javid was on the first card of the year last year, so that's very funny how that works out. So Farid Basharat by decision. After that, we stay at bantamweight for another great fight, this time between two a little less proven prospects, but still two good fighters. As we have Marcus the Maniac McGhee versus Gaston the Dream Killer Bolaños. What a good fight. I don't think this should be over Farid and Lapilus, but still great fight. Let's talk about Marcus McGhee. Marcus McGhee in UFC is 2-0. His 2 wins are Journey Newsom and JP Buys. He's definitely going to step up here in competition from those two, because those two are very bottom of the barrel fighters. And but still, even saying that, he has looked so good in the UFC. Like, he is easily, well, like, I did my Rookie of the Year rankings for last year, and he was in the top 5. He was, I don't remember where in the top 5, he might have been like 5, might have been like, yeah, I think he was 5. He has looked so good. Like, on short notice, he stepped in and beat up Journey Newsom. Not the most impressive win, but still. And then he dominated JP Buys. Again, not the most impressive, but still. He looks to be a giant problem in that division, which already has a lot of problems, and has a lot of problems from that gym. Because he goes to the MMA lab with 3 other bantamweights you might have heard of, named Sean O'Malley, Kyler Phillips, and Mario Bautista. So yeah, let's add another issue to that division from that camp. Good luck, bantamweight, you need it. But yeah, McGhee, very good striker, really good power, ground game, it seems to be solid. It's gonna be very interesting to see how he does in a step up, fighting a guy who is tough and is not a walk in the park like a JP Buys. So let's see how Marcus does. He's definitely due. I'm very high on in 2024 after a great 2023 rookie year, and I really think he can do a lot. Like, I would not be shocked if by the end of the year he's like in the top 15. He might be in top 15 by summertime. So he's very, very good. To talk about his opponent, Gaston Bolaños. Gaston in UFC is 1-0. In his UFC debut, he beat Aaron Phillips. And that performance was okay. I was not, like, that impressed with it. I thought it was a very, fine performance. Like, he didn't look bad by any means, but he didn't look, like, dominant. He looked fine. He looked like I think he should have looked better fighting a guy like Aaron Phillips, who sucks. But he looked fine, and that's fine. But you're gonna have to look better fighting Marcus McGhee, because if we see the Bolaños from that fight versus Phillips fight McGhee, it's gonna go bad. So I'm interested to see how Bolaños handles McGhee's fighting style, because he is like this fucking kickboxer, so he does know how to strike very well. So it's gonna be interesting how he handles McGhee's pressure, power, all that shit. So yeah, but from what I've seen of Bolaños, I was not the most impressed, but I've seen worse. I've seen worse debuts. I expect a little better when fighting Aaron Phillips. So, but this is a really good prospect versus prospect fight, and I can't wait to see this fight. I think this is another amazing fight on this card. So, yeah. The bangers have Marcus McGhee minus 280 to plus 225. I would probably move that down a little bit to maybe Marcus McGhee minus 210 to plus 190. I think McGhee should be the favorite. I think he's more proven and has looked better in his fights, but I don't think almost minus 300 is right. Bolaños is definitely a solid fighter, and so I definitely wouldn't count him out to the extent I counted out Newsom and JP Buys. So yeah, this fight's gonna be really interesting to see how their styles match, because like, Bolaños is a good technical fighter. He has some good technique, but he doesn't really throw with that KO in mind. And McGhee throws to knock your fucking teeth in. So this is gonna be interesting. I think a lot of factors are gonna play into this. Like, whose gas tank is better, whose chin is better, who can implement their game plan better, who can find a weakness sooner. I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm very excited for this fight. I think it's going to be... It could easily be maybe... If we end the night with this as the best fight on the card, I would not be that shocked. It's a very, very, very good fight. So, yeah, I'm excited. But who am I picking? I'm gonna go with Marcus McGhee. I think he's a better fighter. I think he has a lot higher of a ceiling and potential than Bolaños, and I think he'll be able to do his game plan and fighting style better than Bolaños will. So I won't. Would I be shocked if Bolaños won? No, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. So my pick here is going to be Marcus McGhee, and I'm going to say by knockout in the second. I think early in the fight will be interesting. Maybe he can land a couple good shots, but I think in that second round he'll be able to crack that chin of Bolaños and TKO, or he'll just knock him out cold. So yeah, my pick here is Marcus McGhee by knockout in the second. I think his train grows even bigger than it already is, because, well, actually it's not that big of a train right now, but if he wins this fight as I predict him to, train's gonna really start chugging along. So yeah, I'm very excited. So my pick, Marcus McGhee by knockout in the second. After that, we had to welterweight for our co-main event of the prelims, a fight that could be very good, could end in many ways, and could be bad, which hopefully that last one's not true, as we have Matt the Jedi Semelsberger versus Preston Pressure Parsons. I believe Semelsberger is stepping in for Hawes, so another short nose stepping on this card. But yeah, good to see Matt back, and let's actually talk about the Jedi. Semelsberger in the UFC is 5-4, and he's easily he's one of the most frustrating fighters I've done breakdowns on, because the dude has so much talent, but he keeps fucking tripping over his own shoelaces. Like he won this Wells fight. That was a fucking robbery. But in his 3 losses, Chaos Williams just dominated him. Alex Moreno dominated him, which that just seems, for his skill level of both guys, that just seems like that's ass backwards. And Euros Medic fought better than him the whole fight, pretty much. Like, and in his wins, he looked amazing. Like, watch this Jake Matthews performance, and it makes no fucking sense that this guy, it doesn't seem like the same person. The person we've seen in Jake Matthews fight does not seem like the same person we've seen fight Alex Moreno and Euros Medic. Makes very fucking little sense in my opinion. So, and that was, that's easily the best performance of his career. And I know he has 2 15-second KOs, but those were versus tomato cans. And I think a 3-round domination showing your skill is a little more impressive than a 15-second KO, so he's a very frustrating fighter. He has good striking. When he's on. But he definitely gasses quickly. He definitely can quit at times, and it's very annoying. He has a lot of talent, but if he doesn't start fighting to his potential consistently, he's going to be out the UFC before we're in the goddamn summer of this year. So I hope Semelsberger can wake up and fucking fight to his potential, but I'm not gonna hold my breath at this point, because he's burned me too many fucking times to fucking count anymore. So I'm interested to see what Semelsberger can do, because he needs this win. Because no matter what I think of that Wells fight, no matter if I think it was a robbery or not, because it was, that's still, if he loses this fight, that would be 3 in a row. And that's not a good look. So, come on, Semelsberger, fight to your potential. To talk about his opponent, Preston Parsons. Preston in UFC is 1-2. His 1 win is against Evan Elder, and his 2 losses are to Daniel Rodriguez and Trevin Giles. Yeah, he's not a really good fighter. He's pretty much just, I'm going to try and wrestle you, and I hope it works. Against Evan Elder, it worked perfectly. Against Daniel Rodriguez, he got smacked up. Against Trevin Giles, I pretty much blanked that fight out of my fucking memory. It was so bad. And that was the only thing I remember. It was a close fight that he could have won. So, yeah. He fought Mike Perry. and got KO'd, shocker. Yeah, Parsons is a very one-dimensional fighter. His striking is not very good. It's pretty much, I'm going to pressure you, and I'm going to try, his nickname, coincidental, and I'm going to wrestle you. And until I gas, we'll see what happens. Because he has a bad gas tank also. We've seen that in the Trevor Jaws fight. So, yeah. Not a very underwhelming striking. He's just going to try and wrestle you, so, yeah. This fight's very interesting. Two dudes with clear holes in their game. Semelsberger quits and gasses. Parsons can't strike really and gasses. This pretty much who gasses first is going to lose. I don't know who it's going to be. If Semelsberger can stop the takedowns, he'll win. But Parsons early in the fight can wrestle Semelsberger for the whole first round even, and wear on that gas tank more than his gas tank gets worn out. He'll probably be able to maybe bag round 2 and make Semelsberger work in round 3. Tired as shit, and probably walk away for a win. So it's gonna be interesting. The betting odds have Semelsberger minus 125 to plus 105. I agree, a small favorite does seem right for this fight. Like, talent-wise, Semelsberger should be minus 250. But knowing Semelsberger and how consistently he underperforms, yeah, that's the right fucking betting line. So, yeah, I get it. I definitely fucking get it. So who am I going with in this fight? I'm gonna go with Semelsberger. I trust him more than I do Parsons, which I fucking not a fan of saying that, because I don't trust Semelsberger in the fucking slightest. But I could see him being able to not get taken down or get taken down that much, have Parsons gassed, and then finish him. So that's what I'm going to say he does, but I'm going to be very not too faithful. That's not the right term. Not very confident. Yeah, there we go. In my prediction until the fight ends. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Matt Semelsberger here. I think he'll be able to hopefully not gas out by getting taken down. I have little faith. My pick here is Matt Semelsberger by knockout in the second. I think the second. I think he'll be able to stop takedowns in round 1 and knock him out in the second. So yeah, that's my pick. Semelsberger knockout in the second. I'm not confident. And to end the prelims, a very sad fight because it's a very predictable fight, and we all know what's gonna happen. But break down real quick anyway, as we end the prelims with Andrei, the Pitbull Arlovski versus Salsa Boy Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Not gonna talk about Andrei Arlovski. There's nothing that I can say that you don't already know. A living legend. Enough said. I'll talk about Waldo Cortes-Acosta though, the prospect. Waldo is 3-1 in the UFC. His 3 wins: Jared Vandera, Chase Sherman, and Lucas Brzeski. His 1 loss is to Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. He has talent, but he has holes in his game that he still has not fixed. He still has no idea how to check a leg kick, and his wrestling is not good. The good thing for him, he's fighting Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski ain't Edson Barboza with the leg kicks, and he's not fucking Khabib. So, pretty much, this is a hand-picked style matchup for Waldo, because Arlovski is going to fight right into his game of striking, and it's going to end pretty bad for the legend. So, yeah, it's going to end pretty fucking bad. Like, Arlovski really brings no threat in this fight to Waldo. He's not going to throw leg kicks to the extent that he would need to. He's not going to wrestle. He has no power threat anymore. I can't even remember the last time he actually rocked anyone. Like, his chin is dusty as fuck. He's going to get put out. Like, let's be honest. We all fucking know it. So, it's gonna suck to watch, but that's just what's gonna happen, man. Pretty fucking simple. The betting for this fight have Waldo minus 600 to plus 430. Yes, I agree. You can move Waldo up a little higher if you want to. I don't see how he would lose this fight. He would need to fight. He would need... I don't even know what Andrei would have to do to win this fight. Slow the fight down to such a pace that he can win. And I don't see him doing that. He can do that against against fucking Jared Vandera and fucking Carlos Felipe. He's not doing that against Waldo Cortes-Acosta, so... And Waldo's not even that good, but this is a hand-picked matchup, and it's gonna go pretty bad for the legend, so... Yeah, my pick here is Waldo Cortes-Acosta, and I'm going to say by knockout in the first. I don't see this fight going long, and I don't see this going too well for Andrei, so yeah. Sorry, Andrei, but Waldo is probably going to run through you. Just being honest. But there's the prelims, very solid prelims to have. These two bangers on a prelims, plus Josh Van's great, Tom Nolan's a good prospect, Andrei's always great to see, and this could be fun. Very, very solid prelims, and now we go to an even more solid main card. What a fucking main card this is. We have 5 fights that should be very fun, and let's begin with a fight that it probably ain't making it to round 2. As we begin the main card, the first main card fight of 2024, we have Phil No Hype Hawes versus Brunno the Hulk Ferreira. He has a lot of talent. The fight against Darian Wynn has shown that. He has had good performances in UFC before. He has a fucking win over Nasruddin Imavov. But his big problem is he has no chin. One good punch and it's over for him. Like, that's why I always lost there by knockout. Chris Curtis fucking smacks his chin off his head. Roman Dolidze breaks his chin. Ikram Aliskerra smashes him. He just has no chin. And his chin's always very hittable. So, like, if he's fighting someone with good power, he's going to get put out. Fuck, Roman Dolidze's not even that good of a fucking... Like, he's not no fucking knockout artist, and he put fucking Phil Hawes out cold, so... Yeah. He's just not a... His chin just cannot hold up. He is 35 years old, which doesn't fucking help. So... If Phil had a chin, this would be a lot different of a story, but... Because he is a very talented fighter. Like I said, watch a Darian Wynn fight. He's very talented. He just has a fucking glass chin. So, he's a glass cannon. Like, he might be the definition of a fucking glass cannon. He can fucking give it. He can't take it. So, I feel bad for Phil. It's like, we've seen a lot of fighters with the talent and no chin, and he's one of them. To talk about the opponent, Brunno Ferreira. Brunno in the UFC is 1-1. His one win is Gregory Rodriguez, and his one loss is No Sultan Ruziboev. Really good win in the UFC, beating Gregory Rodriguez in your debut in Brazil. Very impressive. And then, yeah, he lost to No Sultan Ruziboev, but that was just fucking S-tier countering by Ruziboev to fucking catch the leg, fucking drop him on his fucking head, and then, cause that's what really, if you watch that KO, that's really what knocks Brunno out, the fucking smashing his head against the cage ground. So, yeah, he just got unlucky there. So, Brunno seems to be a decent fighter, good power. He really has not went deep into a fight, so if he ever actually does, that would definitely be a moment of interest. But as of right now, especially with the fight he has, we won't see him go late into a fight yet, because this fight is probably ending in the first 3 or 4 minutes. So, and fucking Brunno hits like a truck. This is gonna be interesting, man. This can be very entertaining. Brunno Ferreira is the betting favorite at minus 125 to plus 105. I would move Brunno up as a favorite. I think people are really putting a lot of weight into losing to Nasultan, when, again, if you watch that, he just got Nasultan just did something super smart. Can't really get mad at that. I would have Brunno about minus 190, maybe even 200. Like, to be honest, you can make the case for 200, so, yeah. If Phil had a chin, this fight would be completely different. He just has no fucking chin, and I have no faith in him not getting his chin knocked off, so I think this can go really, really bad for Phil. So, my pick here is going to be Brunno Ferreira by knockout in the first. Maybe Phil can catch him before he gets caught, but most likely Phil Hawes is ending this fight out cold. So, sorry Phil, but it's nap time. Brunno Ferreira by knockout in the first. Hulk smash. Someone's going out cold. After that, the third banger in the bantamweight division on this card, and this one is better than the other two, which says a lot, as we head back to bantamweight one last time for a banger between Ricky Simón versus Mario Bautista. What a fucking fight, god damn. Let's talk about Ricky Simón. Ricky in the UFC is 8-3. I won't go through his whole UFC career, but I'll go down his last couple fights. He's on a really nice winning streak, 5 in a row, taking Jack Shore's O. But then he ran into the problem that Song Yadong, and he was not going to beat Song Yadong. He didn't look bad, but it's Song Yadong, one of the best fighters in the division. It was not going to go the best for him. And yeah, it didn't go very good. Simón is like... Simon's a weird fighter. He's good, but he definitely has flaws in his game. He has a great gas tank, he's a good wrestler, good power, but he's not a good striker. He's very hittable. His chin can be broken, and he has a ceiling talent-wise in the rankings, and I think we've seen him hit it. He's a 15-10 ranked dude at best. He's never going to be able to hang with Song Yadong, Chito Vera, fucking Corey Sandhagen, but he could hang with Pedro Munoz, Rob Font, and fucking Saeed Nurmagomedov. You get my fucking drift. So he's talented, and he probably could. If he wins this, he'll probably be ranked for a while longer. But he has a ceiling, and I think he's hit it at this point. So yeah, Ricky's good though, man. Very powerful. Definitely had the power advantage in this fight. To talk about his opponent, Mario Bautista. Mario in the UFC is 7-2, and he is currently on a 5-fight winning streak. And I talked about Damon Blackshear earlier. I'll talk about him again here. Damon making another really good fighter look very unimpressive, and a lot of people gave this fight to Damon Blackshear. It was such a bad fight, I zoned out, so I really cannot give you a fair scorecard. But what I can tell you is, yeah, Bautista looked very bad. I'll give him benefit of the doubt. Blackshear stepped in on super short notice, and Blackshear is a completely different stylistic matchup to who he was meant to fight, that being Cody Garbrandt. But he really has to wake up in this fight against Simón, because if the Bautista we saw against Simón, against Blackshear shows up against Simón, he's going to get smashed. So, and if you look at his other 4 wins on his winning streak, he's looked fucking amazing. Fucking running through Guido Canetti, Benito Lopez, Brian Kelleher, and Jay Perrin. And yes, not good fighters, but still, not like Ricky Simón beat anyone that much better. Who do you fucking beat? Jack Shore, who was one-dimensional as fuck. So, and I know, this is not the best look in the world for fucking Mario Bautista to get KO'd by a dude who got cut. but he just got clipped. And then, my god, he debuted against Corey fucking Sandhagen. Then you can give him a little bit of a fucking break there, you know? So, I know a lot of people have, kind of threw Bautista to the side after that black chair fight. But I'm giving him benefit of the doubt. I'll play devil's advocate. Let's see how he looks in this fight. If he looks bad again, then we can start saying, yeah, his winning streak was pretty much cans. But what if he doesn't look bad? What if he wins? Never know. So, yeah. This fight's very interesting. It's a very interesting stylistic matchup. Again, we know Simon's going to walk forward, take some damage, but he's definitely going to wrestle and see how long Bautista's gas tank can hold up. Bautista definitely wants to keep a standing fight at distance, fucking pick apart Simón, and I think he could. He's 3 inches taller, 1 inch reach disadvantage, but there's definitely a world where he can keep it on the feet, stop takedowns, and piece Simón up. He definitely, again, Simón definitely has the power advantage, but striking advantage is definitely on Bautista's side. Again, he is an MMA lab dude, which those guys are just amazing strikers. Again, do I need to go down the list of who they have? I don't think so. So, this fight can go either. I think can really flip-flop on who can win this. I definitely think people are overreacting to a bad performance against a very good fighter like Damon Blackshear. So, this will be interesting. The betting odds have Ricky Simón, I know, says 165, but he is up to minus 190 now. And Bautista's obviously like plus 160, so I don't agree with those odds. I would have Simón as the favorite, but I would have him like minus 140, 140. Simón can win this fight. Bautista can win this fight. Simón can wrestle his way to a win. Bautista can strike his way to a win. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this fight, and I can't wait. So, who am I going with? My brain says Simón. I don't. I just have this weird feeling about Bautista. I think he can win this fight. I think he will win this fight. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that he will be able to upset Simón and get the win. I don't know why. I just feel it. So, I'm gonna go with my gut and go with Mario Bautista. Maybe the pick looks stupid in hindsight, or maybe it looks really smart. So, my pick here is going to be Mario Bautista by decision. I say he goes to 6 wins in a row. Again, get the ranking. So, yeah. That's my prediction. Let's see if it holds up. After that, we go to a battle featuring a legend who God, please don't take any damage. We have, in our third fight of the main card, Jim fucking Miller versus Gabriel Mowgli Benítez. No need to break down Jim Miller. We'd be here for days. Same thing for Arlovski, a living legend. I will talk about Gabriel Benítez because it's been a while. Benítez is 7-6 in the UFC, weird fucking record. And it's been a while since we've seen him fight. Last time we saw him was late 2022 against Charlie Ontiveros, where he did get a win. He's had a very up and down UFC career. He's won some, lost some. Like, his best wins are definitely Jason Knight is probably his best win. And if you look at his losses, he's losing, and Clay Collier's though, alright. If you look at his losses though, he's lost to actually decent, like very decent competition. Andrei Fili, Sadiq Yusuf, Omar Morales, Billy Q, David Onama. He's losing to like decent or bare minimum like passable fighters. So, and he is 35 years old now, which definitely not a good thing to be 35 coming back after a year and a half layoff. Coming off, he has been finished 4 times in the UFC, so. And his last fight was versus a complete tomato can. Charlie Ontiveros, one of the worst fighters I've seen in the UFC in a long time, so. And that kind of is not a good thing that his last 2 wins are against Justin James and Charlie Ontiveros, 2 garbage can fighters. So we'll see how he does in this fight. And this is his first time moving up to fucking lightweight. It might be, because it looks like all his other fights have been at fucking 45. I don't know, Omar was at 55, so. But, yeah, he's down to fight. I'll give him that. He is definitely down to have a brawl if you'll knock him out or he gets knocked out. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this fight. Because we know Jim Miller will be down to brawl. He'll be down to grapple. Whatever Mowgli wants to do, I think Miller will be happy enough to oblige and fucking join him. So, if Mowgli wants a brawl striking, they're going to brawl striking. If he wants to grapple, they're going to grapple. So, yeah, I think this is going to be very fun. The betting odds are kind of a pick-em to an extent. I really don't get that. I definitely had Jim Miller about minus 150, 160. I think people look at his age and kind of disrespect Miller, even though he's still fighting very well. Like, in his last 5 fights, he could easily be on a 5-fight winning streak. That Hernandez fight was close, and he looked decent in the Hernandez fight. And fine, even if he fucking whatever, he's still 4-1 his last 5 at 40. Yeah, it's not versus good opponents, but dude, Andrei Arlovski can't beat goddamn Dontel Mays. And fucking who else? You got Clay Guida not looking too hot lately. Jim Miller still fighting at a very consistent fucking rate at 40 and looking good doing it. He's fucking becoming a striker, if anything. Dude, 3 of his last 5 wins are by knockout. I guarantee before the Eric Gonzalez fight, he had 4 KOs in the UFC. He's up to fucking 7. Fucking insane. So he is coming into his own striking wise, and he does have a lot of power, which is weird, but I think he is going to go back to his wrestling eventually, and I think this could be that fight that he does come back to his wrestling. So it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be very intriguing to see what happens, and it's just to see where this fight takes place more than fucking anything. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Who am I going with here? I am going to go Jim Miller. I think he'll be able to get a win here. The main question is how. I'm feeling a submission. I don't see him knocking out Mowgli. Maybe he does. I'm not seeing it. I'm thinking Jim Miller by submission in the... I'm feeling a second round. I'm not seeing a first round submission. I'm seeing a second round submission. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going Jim Miller by submission in the second. Maybe it's the first round he subs him, but I'm feeling more of the second round. I can see him I don't know. Maybe I'll go first round, but rather right now I'm leaning towards the second round. So, but yeah, my pick here is Jim Miller by submission. I'm leaning the second. Just don't take any damage before 300. You got 4 months. Fucking win this fight, relax, get on 300, retire. Simple. So, I'm on Jim Miller by submission. A fucking legend. After that, the co-main event of the evening, the first of 2 rematches on its card. And we start off with a rematch between Matheus Nicolau versus Manel Starboy Kape. This is a rematch of their fight from almost 3 years ago. Was that Kape's debut? No, that's Kape's second fight in the UFC, and that was Nicolau's return fight to the UFC. So they definitely have changed as fighters since. So yeah, if we look at how their careers have went since that fight, Nicolau is 3-1. His 3 wins are Tim Elliott, David Dvorak, and Matt Schnell, and he got knocked out by Brandon Royval in his last fight. And Manel Kape is 4-0, beating Ode Osborne, Zalgas Umagulov, David Dvorak and Felipe Dos Santos. Yeah, one dude looks to be on the come up and one dude looks to be on the go down. Like, I'll talk about Nicolau first. Nicolau's a good fighter, but I emphasize the word good because I don't really see why he's such a high-ranked dude. He's like, I think number 6 or 5. I've not seen that level from him. Like, if you look at his 3 wins outside of Kape, Tim Elliott, who, yeah, that's a fine win. David Dvorak, who UFC fucking loves for some reason when he's not even that good. And then Matt Snow, who is a fucking journeyman. And then Brandon Royval fucking need his teeth down his throat, so. Nicolau's a fine fighter, but he fits more between, like, being ranked, I don't know, maybe like number 8, 9, something like that. He's just, I don't see him as a top 5 to 6 dude. That just seems like a very big reach, and he just seems like one of those guys they not forced, but they overranked, if that's the fucking term. Fuck a guy they both beat. David Dvorak's a perfect example of getting overranked for doing fuck all. So, Nicolau's a good fighter, good striker, all that shit, but I think he's a little overranked, so. And then to talk about his opponent, Manel Kape. Kape is looking like one of the rising stars in that division. Like, he got 2 first-round KOs over Zulgaus and Ode. Yes, not the greatest wins, but still. Then he beat David Dvorak in a very fine performance. I would definitely say I think Nicolau probably had a better Dvorak performance, if I'm remembering it correctly. And then in his last fight against Felipe Dos Santos, yes, he looked very bad, but I'll give him benefit of the doubt. He was focusing on everything else besides Felipe Dos Santos. He was focused on Kai, Izzy, this, that, and the other thing. So I'll give him, and Felipe Dos Santos is great, so yeah. And Kape's a great fighter. Really good striking, scary power. Gaston is fine, but I don't think we'll really need to see that in this fight. And it's going to be interesting to see how he does in a rematch, because I definitely think that first fight burns him a little bit, because, and I've not already talked about why they're rematching, because it's a very controversial decision. A lot of people say Nicolau lost this fight. I remember watching it live. I really don't remember this fight, so that's my bad. But, yeah, really no one I've seen score this fight for Nicolau besides the judges. So that tells you a lot. And again, as fighters, they've completely changed over the last 3 fucking years. Kape has gotten better and less tense. Nicolau has kind of maybe gotten worse. So, this is going to be interesting. I'm very, interested for this fight. What the fuck were the odds for the first fight? Interesting. Though Kape has became a way bigger favorite in the rematch. So, yeah. The betting odds are like I said, Manel Kape minus 245 to plus 195. I agree. I'd have Kape between 200 and 250. He should be the favorite, and he just seems like he should win this fight. He's a better fighter. So, I think we're going to see, I think this is going to be what everyone thought the first fight should be. I think Kape's going to go out there, look good, and probably get a finish. So, because Kape's first 2 UFC fights against Pantoja and Nicolau are so weird because he fought so off from how Manel Kape should be fighting that when he finally did fight like Manel Kape against Ode, it was like, holy shit, thank fuck. So, yeah, I think this is going to be what the first fight should have been, and I'm going to say Manel Kape by knockout in the first. I think he's going to be pissed off. I think he's going to be hungry to get revenge. Especially, I think he's going to be pissed off and hungry to look good after a very underwhelming performance against Felipe Dos Santos. And I think he's going to put Nicolau out cold. So, yeah, my pick here is going to be Manel Kape by knockout in the first. And I think he gets revenge for his questionable decision lost. So yeah, Manel Kape knockout in the first. And now, time for the main event of the evening. Keep all doctors away. Don't go by the desert. let's just have these two fight until someone wins. Of course, I'm talking about Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker, the rematch from a couple months ago. I'm not going to go into the backstory of the first fight. It's very self-explanatory. Ankalaev threw a knee while Walker was a downed opponent. The doctor came in, asked Walker a question. Walker answered it correctly, and the doctor stopped the fight for no fucking reason. So, now we have the rematch to get a real fucking winner because that doctor's a fucking idiot. So, yeah. Do I really need to break down these two? Magomed Ankalaev, very good fighter. Hit a really weird streak of luck in his last two fights. He might be the first fighter ever, at least maybe high-ranked good fighter, to have two fights with no winner. Having a draw with Jan and then, of course, no contest. So, Ank's good. I think he's a little overhyped at this point because, come on, like, he's not the best lightweight in the world. That's Alex Pereira. Like, I think y'all... The highest I'd rank Ank is third. I think Yuri's better. I think Alex is better. Ank is good. He is a talented fighter. But, like, let's look at his underwhelming performances. He did not look that good against Thiago Santos. And that was in 2021, when Thiago Santos was way past his fucking prime and shitty. Like, he did not look good. And it's kind of funny, Johnny Walker lost to Thiago also, and I think Johnny Walker looked as good, if not maybe better in his fight against Thiago than Ank did. Fuck. So, Ank's a very good fighter, really good striking. Of course he can grapple, but I think he's a little overrated at this point, which is weird to say. And then Johnny Walker, do I need to explain Johnny Walker? It's Johnny Walker. You don't know what you're gonna get. He's just going to go out there and vibe. He does not take this shit seriously, and he still wins. So, this is gonna be interesting. Well, what do I honestly think is gonna... the bang odds, minus 455 Ankalaev, plus 350 Walker. I would move it down a little bit. I'd have Ank probably about minus 300 to plus 250. That's a little more reasonable. Back to what I was saying, what do I honestly think is going to happen in this fight? Most likely, I'd say 98% chance Ankalaev is going to wrestle Walker, gas Walker out, and either finish him later in the fight or get a 50-45, 50-44 decision. That's what I honestly think will probably happen. And that's going to suck because who really wants to see that? But, because I'm biased, and I'm going to go for the same pick I had in the first fight, which was biased, I'm going Johnny motherfucking Walker by knockout in the first, because how do you not pick Johnny Walker? He's a vibe, bro. Who does not love Johnny Walker? Just seems like a fucking super nice dude. And he's going to go out there, do his normal stupid shit, and get a win, in my opinion. I don't actually think it's going to happen, but I can dream. So, my pick, biasly, is going to be Johnny Walker by knockout in the first. But if I was putting in a legit pick unbiasedly, I'd probably say Ankalaev. I think he's going to be angry and probably wants to finish Walker, so I'd probably say TKO or submission in the third for Ank if I was giving a realistic pick, but I'm biased and stupid, so Walker by knockout in the first because it's more entertaining. I enjoy picking biasly more than I enjoy picking seriously when it comes to fighters I like, so yeah. Walker knockout in the first, get revenge for that knee in the desert. Oh, fucking boom. There you go. First breakdown of the year done. To go over my picks one more time. Joshua Van by decision. Tom Nolan lock of the night by knockout in the first. Jean Silva by knockout in the first. Farid Basharat by decision. Marcus McGhee by knockout in the second. Matt Semelsberger by knockout in the second. Waldo Cortes-Acosta by knockout in the first. Bruno Ferreira by knockout in the first. Bautista by decision. Jim Miller by submission in the second. Manel Kape by knockout in the first. And Johnny Walker by knockout in the first. There you go. My first set of picks for 2024, and how bad will I jinx all of these poor motherfuckers? We'll see. But, yeah, I'm happy to be back breaking down fights. It's so fucking great. A month sucked without fights, but we are back for 2024. So, let's enjoy it. Let's have a good year of fights, let's have a good year of videos, and let's have a good year in general, because that's all that matters. Let's just have a good time. So, yeah, only thing left for me to say is, of course, you'll be hearing me recap this card Sunday, 1 p.m. EST. And, yeah, unless I'm gonna say something, I'm trying to think. I did, talk to recap, fucking good to be back. I really can't think of anything else to say. Maybe I am, and I'm gonna fucking think about it right after I end this recording, but I hope I don't. So, yeah. So the only thing left for me to say that I can think of is, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs is the goal by the end of 2024. And as always, RX out. Good vibes only and always.